Hello everyone. In the series of Learning Database Management System, our today's topic is second normal form. So we have already discussed about the first normal form of normalization, and there are few rules which each and every normal form has to follow, and if the relation follows those rules, then we can say that the relation is in particular normal form. So normalization basically we are doing to remove the redundancy. And normalization is all about rules. So each and every normal form has its specific rules. So there are two rules second NF follows. That is, if we want a relation to be in second normal form, first rule is relation should be in 1NF. Now, what are the rules for 1NF now? 1NF, first rule was each and every attribute should contain atomic value. Multi-valued attributes or tuples are not allowed. Second rule was the domain type for each and every attribute should be same. Then third rule was attribute name should be unique. If a relation follows these three rules, we were saying that a relation is in 1NF. Now, to be in second NF, first thing is relation should be in 1NF. So all those three rules it should satisfy. And second thing is relation must not contain any partial functional dependency. So what is partial functional dependency? This I have already discussed in the previous video. So prerequisite for 2NF or for further also for normal form, you should know what is partial and full functional dependency. You should know what is candidate key, how to find out the closure. All these are the prerequisite. Prime attributes, non-prime attributes, all these concepts should be clear. Then only you will be able to work with normal form. So I have already uploaded these videos. If you have not gone through these videos, please check those videos so you will understand better. So here, partial functional dependency, if a proper subset of a candidate key determines non-prime attribute, then it is known as partial functional dependency. That is what? That is no non-prime attribute. What is a non-prime attribute? Those attributes which are not part of candidate key are known as non-prime attribute, and those attributes which are part of candidate key are known as prime attribute. So what is the condition? No non-prime attribute is dependent on a proper subset of any candidate key of the table, right? So if I am writing like this, that no non-prime attribute, that means here we are saying non-prime attribute should not be functionally dependent on any proper subset of candidate key, and those who are part of candidate key are known as prime attributes. Remember? So if there is a prime determines non-prime, if I will get this condition, I will tell that this is a case of partial functional dependency. Okay, let's understand this entire thing with an example. So we will check whether a relation is in 2NF or not, and if it is not in 2NF, we will bring it to 2NF by decomposing the table. Okay, and in this process only I will tell you the steps how to do this. So let's consider an example where there is a relation R, and in this relation R I am having 5 attributes. So P, Q, R, S and T. Okay, these 5 attributes I have, and functional dependency is something like this, that PQ determines R and S determines T. This is the functional dependency. Now we have to check whether this is in 2NF or not, and if it is not in 2NF, bring it to 2NF. Okay, now first what I have to check, the relation should be in 1NF. Now here we are not having any values for these attributes, so we are considering this is in 1NF because there is no value. How we will check atomicity of the value, right? So this table is in 1NF. Next thing is, relation must not contain any partial functional dependency. And as I already told, when we will have partial functional dependency? When a non-prime attribute is determined by a prime attribute. So first we have to find out prime and non-prime attribute. To find out prime and non-prime attribute, we should know what is a candidate key. Correct? So first step is, step number 1 for this process is find out the candidate key. Find the candidate key. Okay. Now, how to find out the candidate key? If you have seen the videos, 2 videos I have discussed. One, candidate key, how to find out candidate key with conventional way. Another with a short trick. So, we will use the short trick here. Okay. So, how to use the short trick? First thing, I have to find out the director of this show. How to find out director? I will write the attributes. So how many attributes I have in this relation? P, Q, R, S and T. Fine. 5 attributes I have. Now I will find out who is giving direction to which attribute. If you can see, PQ is giving direction to R. So PQ together is giving a direction to R. Okay. Then S is giving directions to T. S is giving directions to T. Okay. Now, who is the director of the show? Director of the show will be the one who is not getting any direction. That means the one which is not having any incoming edge. They are the directors. So if you can see, P is not having any incoming edge, Q is not having, and S is also not having any incoming edge. So PQS can be the director of this show. So can I say PQS are my important attributes? Why they are important attributes? Because they have the power to determine some other attribute. No other attribute is determining them. That's why they are important attribute or important element. Okay. So second step is find out the closure for this particular important attribute. Fine. So step number 2, find closure. Okay, let's find closure. I have to find out the closure of P, Q and S. Okay, so here we go. Closure of P, Q, S. How to find out closure also I have discussed in very detailed with so many examples. So if you have not gone through those videos, please see those videos, otherwise you will not understand what's happening here. So how to find out the closure? 2 steps I have told you. First, in the result set, I have to write down the attribute for whom I am calculating the closure. So P, Q, S will come as it is. Then we have to repetitively write down the attributes which are functionally dependent on the attribute on the result set. So if you can see, PQ determines R. So can I write P, Q, R and S? Yes, I can do that. Then another one is S determines T. So I can write P, Q, R, S and T. That's it. That means closure of PQS has the power to determine entire relation R, because this relation R consists of P, Q, R, S, T, 5 elements, and we got all those 5 elements, right? So that means what? PQS has the power to determine each and every element of this relation R. That's why PQS is candidate key. Correct? Because candidate key is the one which has the power to determine all the attributes of a relation, and here PQS is doing that. And now if I will add any other attribute to it, it can be a super key. It will not be a candidate key anymore, because a minimal super key is a candidate key and it's already minimal, PQS determining other attributes of this relation. So this is the only candidate key present in this question. Okay, so we got our candidate key. After that, if you see the definition of partial dependency, it is depending on prime and non-prime attribute. So third step is identify prime and non-prime attributes. So here we go. Who are prime attributes? Prime attributes are those attributes which are part of candidate key. So here what is candidate key? PQS. So prime attribute will be P, Q and S. Non-prime, other than PQS, in the relation what we have? R and T. So non-prime, those which are not part of candidate key. So non-prime attribute are R and T, right? So up till now I found out the prime and the non-prime attribute. Now here if you can check, what is a partial functional dependency? If any proper subset of my candidate key will find out a non-prime attribute, then that will be a partial functional dependency. So here let's see the dependencies. PQ determines R. PQ determines R. Now here you see, candidate key is what? PQS. And alone PQ is saying I can determine R. What is PQ? It is a proper subset of candidate key. Correct? So because of this line, there is a partial functional dependency. So can I tell this relation is in second normal form? No, this relation is not in second normal form. Why? Because the partial attribute, the partial subset of candidate key. What is a candidate key? PQS is a candidate key. PQ, that means partial attribute. It is not including S, and it is saying I will determine R. So here it is a case of partial functional dependency. Here also you see S determines T. Now S is also what? Partial proper subset of candidate key. So because of this functional dependency also, there is a case of partial functional dependency. So both the dependencies are leading us to partial functional dependency. So this particular relation is not in second normal form. So now what we have to do? We have to bring it to second normal form. So what we have to do? We have to decompose. We have to decompose relation R. How we will decompose? We have to decompose till the time it is not coming to second normal form. Okay, so I'm writing this relation R again. P, Q, R, S, T. And functional dependencies are PQ determines R and S determines T. So I have to decompose it so it can come to second normal form. Okay. So first thing, always remember step number 1 for decomposition. We will decompose the relation R. So first decomposition, R will get decomposed into R1, and this we will reserve for the candidate key and the attributes which are directly dependent on candidate key. Okay, or let's say here we will accommodate what? In relation R1, we will accommodate the candidate key. What is candidate key for this question? PQS. And which other element I can accommodate here? If there is an element which is completely dependent on this candidate key. Any dependency we have where PQS determines something? No. If PQS determines something, that attribute I will allow here. But here in two dependencies, I am not having a single dependency where PQS together is determining anything. So this table will only contain PQS. Now, another table of this decomposition, I will have for the attributes because of, or for the dependency because of which I am getting partial dependency. So this functional dependency is also creating problem, and this functional dependency is also creating problem. So here what I will do, here I will accommodate PQ for another table. And who is dependent on PQ? R is dependent on PQ. Anyone dependent on R can also come here. But here nobody is dependent on R. So only PQ and R will come here. For this table PQS entire candidate key. For this table we will make PQ as a key. Okay. So this functional dependency is solved. Now PQ is a key and PQ is determining R. So there is no proper subset. Entire key is determining relation R. We made this as a key. Okay. Now third decomposition, because of this table also there is a problem. S is also a proper subset of candidate key. So we will write this table for S, and whom S is determining? S is determining T. So T will also we will accommodate here. Any other attribute which is determined by T? No. If there is any other attribute which is determined by T, that also we will accommodate here. But there is no attribute, so this table is done here. And for this table we will make S as key. Okay. Now check any functional dependency is pending. For this table PQS entire candidate key, all are candidate key. For another table PQ is the key, that means prime attributes are PQ, non-prime attribute is R, and entire PQ is determining R. So R is fully functionally dependent on PQ. There is no partial dependency. For third table S is the key and T is fully functionally dependent on T. So now we can say that this table is in 2NF. So decomposition will go like this. First step for candidate key and attributes which are fully functionally dependent on candidate key, we will accommodate them. Step number 2 or second number decomposition, we are bringing those elements which are creating problem. So this dependency created problem, one table for this dependency. This dependency created problem, one table for this dependency. Like this we will decompose a table. So now this relation is in second normal form. Let's solve one more example so the concept will be more clear. Okay. So let's take another example. Here we are having, this is the second example, and I'm having a relation R with 5 attributes P, Q, R, S and T. Now dependency is something like this, that P determines Q, then Q determines T, and third dependency is R determines S. So here is the dependency. P determines Q, Q determines T, and R determines S. Okay. So what I have told you, first check whether this relationship is in 2NF or not. So it should be in 1NF. Now no values are present, so we are considering it is in 1NF. Now what we have to do for checking 2NF, there should not be any partial dependency. So for finding out partial dependency, I have told you 3 steps. First, find out the candidate key. So for finding out candidate key, what we have to do? We have to find out the director of the show. So step number 1, for this question I will write again. So from next questions I will not write all those steps. So first step, what we are doing? We are finding candidate key. So P, Q, R, S and T. Now check the direction. P determines Q, P determines Q. Q determines T, Q determines T. R determines S, R determines S. So who is the director of the show, who is not getting any direction and only giving the direction? Those elements which are not having any incoming edge, P and R. So P and R are the important elements, right? P and R are important attributes. Now for P and R, let's find out the closure. Step number 2. So I am calculating the closure of PR. So here what will come in the result set? The attribute for which I am calculating the closure. After that, repetitively I have to put the attribute which are functionally dependent on these attributes which are present in the result set. So P determines Q. So I will write PQ R. Q determines T. So P Q R T. R determines S. P Q R S T. That is my entire relation R. That means what? The closure of PR is giving me the entire relation R. That means what? PR is my candidate key. Next what? I have to find out prime and not prime attribute. So step number 3. Prime attributes, those which are part of candidate key. So P and R are prime attributes. Non-prime attributes which are not part of candidate key. So non-prime. Remaining all other attributes. So Q, S and T are non-prime attribute. Now check the dependency and find out, is there any proper subset of PR, because PR is the candidate key. Which one is the proper subset? P is the subset, R is the subset. If P alone find out something or R alone find out something, then there is a problem and it will not be in second normal form, because this is leading us to partial functional dependency. So let's see. P determines Q. Here is the problem. Q is what? Q is non-prime attribute. P is what? Prime attribute, and it is a subset, proper subset of candidate key, because candidate key is PR and P determines Q. So here this will lead us to partial functional dependency. So if you are facing a question in GATE or NET, there they will ask, check whether the relation is in second NF or not. Now as soon as you will get any one condition which doesn't satisfy, your work is done, you don't have to check further. But generally in university exam, you have to further check and you have to decompose. If it is not in second normal form, bring it to second normal form. In that case, you have to check all the dependency. So because of this, it is not in second normal form. This is a partial dependency. Q determines T. Now, if you can see here, Q is a non-prime attribute, T is a non-prime attribute. Problem occurs only when a prime determines non-prime. If a non-prime determines non-prime, for now in second dependency there is no issue. Fine. So because of this there is no problem. R determines S. Again here is a problem. R is a proper subset of candidate key and R is a prime attribute, and R determines S, which is a non-prime attribute, is also a problem. So because of this also there is a partial functional dependency. So now what we have to do this, we have to bring it to second normal form. So we have to decompose this relation. Fine. So I'm writing here again once, or we will check from here how to decompose a relation. Table number 1, R1, I will give for only candidate key. What is my candidate key? P and R. So in table number 1, I will accommodate candidate key and any attribute which is fully functionally dependent on PR together. So here PR is there together? No, PR is not determining any element together. So here no other element will come, only PR will come in my table number 1. For table number 2, I will put those attributes which are creating problem, those dependency which are creating problem. So we will solve them one by one. So because of this there is a problem. So here we will, for this table we will write P. P determines what? Q. Now P determines anything else? No. Q determines anything else? Yes, Q determines T. So T will also come here. T determines anything else? No. Okay. Now for this table we will make P as a key. So for this table P is a key. So now for this table, what is a prime attribute? P is a prime attribute. What are non-prime attribute? Q and T are non-prime attribute. So P determines QT. A key is determining, a prime attribute is determining non-prime attribute. No problem, this is a key. A key should be like that it has a power to determine other attributes, right? So here the functional dependency problem is solved. These elements we already accommodated, so we will not touch them again. Now because of this also there is a problem. So R3 will consist of R. R determines what? S. S determines anything? No. R determines anything else? No. So this table will consist of R and S, and for this table R will act as a key. Now key R, which is key, is determining S, which is a non-prime attribute. So here also there is no problem. This question is also solved. So what we have done, we have decomposed the table R, relation R, into 3 tables, and we brought it to the second normal form. One more example we will see. So your concept for second normal form will be fully clear. Okay. So here I am taking example number 3. So here we are having a relation R with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I and J. So a big example I am taking with lots of dependencies, so your concept will be clear. AB determines C. AD determines GH. BD determines EF. A determines I. H determines J. Okay, so these are the dependencies for this question. This is a new question. Okay, third number example. So first step is what? Find out the candidate key. So how to find out the candidate key? First we have to find out the important attribute or director of our show. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I and J. Let's see who is giving direction to whom. AB is giving directions to C. So AB is giving directions to C. A, D is giving directions to G and H. Okay. Next B and D giving directions to E and F. Okay, this is done. A is giving directions to I and H is giving directions to J. Okay. Now the one which is not having any incoming edge, let's check. A is not having any incoming edge. B is not having any incoming edge. D is also not having any incoming edge. So which one is the important attribute? Important attribute is AB and D. So important attribute is AB, D. So what is the second step? We will find out the closure of important attribute. So for ABD, I am calculating the closure. Fine. So how to calculate the closure? We have to check. First we have to write in the result set the attributes for which I am calculating the closure. ABD. Now AB determines C. Then AD determines GH. So can I write A, B, C, D, G and H? You understood, right? AB determines C and AD is also present, will determine GH. Next what? BD determines EF, A alone will determine I, and H will determine J. So basically I am getting entire relation A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I and J. Entire relation R will be calculated or computed by closure of ABD. That means what? That means ABD is my candidate key. Okay. So if ABD is candidate key, next step is what? We have to find out prime attributes and non-prime attributes. So prime attributes, those which are part of candidate key. A, B and D are prime attributes. Non-prime attributes which are not part of candidate key. So here if you can see in this relation, instead of ABD, how many attributes are there? Here if you can see, we are having C, E, F, G, H, I and J. Right? All these we have as non-prime attribute. Now we have to check whether there is a functional dependency is there on this particular relation or not. And if there is functional dependency, we have to decompose and we have to remove that partial functional dependency. Okay. Now, candidate key is what? ABD is a candidate key. So any proper subset of candidate key, if determines a non-prime attribute, that will be considered as partial functional dependency. So here you see AB, which is part of candidate key, proper subset of candidate key, is determining C. It's not including D with this. So this is proper subset of candidate key and it is determining a non-prime attribute. As you can see, C is the non-prime attribute. It is determining a non-prime attribute. So this is leading us to partial functional dependency. AD, again, what is a candidate key? ABD is a candidate key. AD is also what? AD is also part of candidate key, proper subset of candidate key. So this will also lead us to partial functional dependency. BD is also partial functional dependency because it is also proper subset of candidate key. A alone, this is also proper subset of candidate key. So this will also lead us to partial functional dependency. Only one functional dependency we have which is not leading us to partial functional dependency. Otherwise, all other functional dependencies are leading us to partial functional dependency. So now what we have to do? We have to decompose it and we have to bring this relation to second NF. So let's decompose it. So for decomposition, as I am telling from first question, first relation R1 for decomposition. Here I will decompose. R1, I will create R1 for candidate key and any other attribute which is fully functionally dependent on the candidate key, that I will accommodate here. So for R1 I am writing the candidate key which is ABD. Any attribute which we are able to find with ABD, any dependency you can see here, ABD determines something? No. So this table will only contain what? This table will contain ABD. Okay. Next what? Another table, R2. Now those who are creating problem, for them let's create a table one by one. So first problem is created by AB. So I am creating a table for AB and I will make AB as a key. So for this table AB will be the key. Now AB determines C. So C will come here. AB determines anything else? No. C determines anything else? No. Right? That's it? Yes. But if you can see, A determines I, right? AB determines C and alone A determines I. So I will also come here. AB determines C and alone A also determines I. So what is happening? There is a partial dependency because the subset, proper subset of key is determining a non-prime attribute. Now we are creating this table for whom? We are creating this table for AB. So for this table, AB is the key. Now what is happening here? Inside the table, A is saying I will alone determine I. So here also it comes a partial dependency, because for this table AB is the key. And what is the proper subset of AB now? Proper subset of AB is either A or B, and A alone is saying I will determine I, which will again create a problem. So we have to decompose this table R2 into R21 and R22. R21 will have only ABC, and here AB will act as a key. And who else is creating problem? A is creating problem. So A is saying I will determine I, so let A determines I. So here A will be the key for this table. So here AB is the key for this table, A is the key. Okay, so now we will not take this table, we will take R1, R21, R22. So right now we are having 3 tables, and my this dependency problem is solved. Here this is solved, and my this dependency problem is solved. Next, who is creating problem? AD is creating problem. So R3 I will create for AD. I will make AD as a key. AD determines what? GH. Fine. So AD determines GH. Now GH determines something? No. But if you can see, H is determining J. So J also I will accommodate here. Okay. Now you see, for this table AD is the key. For this table AD is the key. What is prime attribute? AD are the prime attribute and they are the key. AD determines GH, no problem. H determines J. H is a non-prime attribute. Non-prime attribute determines non-prime attribute. There is no issue. So third table will consist of AD, GH, J. Okay. Fourth, who is creating problem? This is solved. This is solved. Only one person is only few attributes are pending. BD. So BD determines EF. So BD determines EF. For this table, BD is the key. Now here you see in this relation, is BD determines anything else? No. E determines anything? No. F determines anything? No. So that means this is also solved. So we have solved all the partial dependencies. So here if you can see how many tables this relation R, which we got in the first step, this relation R is decomposed into how many tables? It is decomposed into 1. Then this is further decomposed, so we will not count this. We will count this 2, 3, 4 and 5. So that relation R is decomposed into 5 tables, and now we can say that this entire thing, this entire relation is in 2NF. So like this you have to do when you check for second normal form. Let's take one more example, and this time let's take an example in form of a table. So you can see whether it is in first normal form also or not. So let us suppose I am having a table student. Okay. For this student table, I am having student ID. So I am writing SID. Then student's name. So I am giving S name. Here next I am having teacher ID. So I am giving TID. Teacher name, T name, and then we are having grade of students. Okay. Now let's insert some data in this. So let us suppose my student ID is like this. Let me give some student name randomly. So Neha, Megha and Sunil. Okay, now teacher ID is something like this, 3, 2, 1, and let's give some name, Vinita, Garima and Sushmita. So they are the teachers, and some random grades I'm putting like this. Okay, so this is my student table. For this student table, let's assume we are having following functional dependency. So I am saying that TID determines T name. Teacher ID, if I know teacher ID, I can tell you teacher name. Okay. Second functional dependency I am having like this, that SID determines S name. If I am having student ID, I can tell you student name. And third, I am having something like this, that student ID, comma, teacher ID. If I am having both, then only I am allowed to give grade. So grade is dependent on teacher ID and student ID. Okay. So now what we have to do, we have to check whether this table is in second NF or not. And if it is not in second NF, bring it to second NF. So what is the rule for checking second NF? First we have to check that this table should be in 1 NF. How to check it is in 1 NF? All the tuples should have atomic value. Yes, all the tuples are having atomic value. Domain of each and every attribute should be same. So if you can see, SID is only taking numbers. All tuples are having same domain type. SName is only taking strings, same domain, TName same domain, grade same domain. So no problem with respect to domain type. Third, attribute name should be unique. SID, SName, TID, TName and grade. No two attribute are having same name. That's why what I can say, this table is in 1 NF. Okay. Now next what I have to check, whether this table is containing any partial dependency or not. And if there is any partial functional dependency, this table is not in second NF. I have to bring it to second NF. So for checking partial dependency, first step, we have to find out the candidate key. So how many attributes you can see? I can see SID, SName, TID, TName and grade. Let's find out the director. TID determines TName, SID determines SName and TID and SID together determines grade. That means who are the important attribute? SID and TID. So SID and TID are important attributes. If I find out the closure of this, so TID will give me TName. Sorry, first write down the attributes for which I am computing the closure. So first I will write down SID and TID. Or let me write like this, SID, TID. Okay, then SID is determining SName. So SID, SName. TID determines TName. So here TName. And SID, TID together determines grade. So I will get grade also. So if I am saying that closure of SID and TID gives me entire relation R. Entire relation R means what? This student, let us suppose it's a relation R. So if this student is a relation R, can I say SID and TID is giving me entire relation R? And if it is giving me entire relation R, that means what? SID comma TID is candidate key. So what are the prime attributes? Prime attributes are SID comma TID. What are the non-prime attributes? Non-prime attributes will be SName, tname and grade, right? So now what I have to check? Any proper subset of candidate key. What is candidate key? SID and TID. If any proper subset of candidate key determines a non-prime attribute. Non-prime attribute are sname, tname and grade. If it is so, then it is a partial functional dependency. So if you can see, TID alone without SID determines tname, which is a non-prime attribute. So this is a partial functional dependency. SID alone determines sname. So this is also a partial functional dependency. SID, TID together determines grade. Here there is no problem. What I have to do now? I have to decompose this student table and I have to bring it to second normal form. So let's do that. So how I will decompose this table? I will decompose the student table. So first thing, I have to decompose this table. Let us suppose first I am writing as R1. R1 will consist of candidate key and anything which is fully functionally dependent on candidate key. What is candidate key? SID and TID. So SID, TID and anything in here fully functionally dependent on candidate key? Yes, SID, TID determines grade. So this table which I will have R1, it will consist of 3 attributes. What are the 3 attributes? SID, TID and grades. SID, TID and grades. So let's insert the value. We have 3 tuples, SID 1, 2, 3, TID 3, 2, 1 and grades are 5, 4, 6. This I am writing, how I am writing? With respect to this table. Okay. Now, next what I have to do? I have to one by one decompose on the basis of the partial dependency. So first solve this partial dependency. So for this I will create another table R2. So this another table R2 which I will create, in that table who will act as a key? TID will act as a key. And it will consist of what? Tname. Tname is determining anything else? No. So this table will only have 2 attributes. What are those 2 attributes? One is TID, another is tname. So here 3 tuples we have, TID. So I will mention 3, 2, 1. What are the tname? Here we have Vinita, Garima and Sushmita. Okay. Next, so this partial dependency is solved. For this table, TID will act as a key. For this table, SID, TID together will act as a key. Now, another, this functional dependency is creating problem. So let's create R3 table for this. So here, only 2 tuples, SID determines sname. So here I will create only 2 tuples, SID determines sname. So 3 tuples I have. Name of student is Neha, Megha and Sunil. That's it. Sname further doesn't determine anything. So this problem is solved. So now if you can see, we have brought this student relation R into 2NF. Now there is no problem of partial dependency. For this table, TID will act as key. Key will determine the non-prime attribute. Here also entire key, SID will work as a key and SID key will determine a non-prime attribute. So the student table further divided into 3 tables. If you want to give meaningful name, let's call this table as grades. This is my grades table and this is my faculty or teacher table. So this is my faculty table, and this is my student detail table. Fine. So the student table got decomposed into 3 tables: grades, faculty, and student detail, and now we can say that this table is in 2NF. So this is a way you can bring a table to second normal form. Hopefully this lecture is clear to you all. Thank you very much.